The movie industry is dying. The music industry is dying. And I think the solution is not going to be trying to revive the dead. It's sort of like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. Mm-hmm. It's like, let it die. Mm-hmm. And what does it revive as?
Welcome
to Audacia Podcast.
Welcome to the Audacia Podcast. In this episode, I'm talking with my friend, the CEO of Cinema Country, a film company that's reinventing the way movies are made. We dive into AI, the future of film, and even touch on spirituality along the way. If you enjoy this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the show. It's the best way to support this journey. I'm grateful you're here. You're the CEO of a company called Cinema Country. Mm-hmm. Why should people care about a film company in this modern age where AI is taking over the world?
Yeah. When I see tragedy, I see opportunity. So being in the industry for almost 20 years, I know the pitfalls. I know the holes. I know not only the way that the business works, but also how things work practically on set, how to orchestrate a film, and how budgets work. And I really dug into that and learned the producership of everything. We're essentially enabling ourselves through partnerships, everybody from that's on set with the crew, to restaurants, to hotel, to a vendor, to equipment rentals, to trailer rentals, all the above. They take a piece of the revenue from the film, an ownership on the back end. And so you're shooting a $3 million film on all soft equity.
So to make this, I want to make this more easily digestible to people that aren't in the film industry.
Sure.
The antiquated way that you might call it, that movies were made, is that you would raise a ton of money and you would hire a makeup artist and you would hire a gaffer or a cinematographer and everything else. With that money, you pay them a fee and they're done. What you're saying is you're going to bring in all of these people. They're not getting paid up front, but they're getting a percentage of the project itself. Everyone that's involved has a potential to make even more money than they might have made in the old way.
And just to get a little bit more granular, to investors, from their point of view, it's very attractive because it's such a low buy-in. This model really increases the profit margin.
How do you compete with AI that's going to be actively tracking people's attention span and what excites them the most? How do you compete with that?
I always remind myself there's a crowd for everything. Back in the early 80s, when synthesizers came around, it was a huge scare of how it was going to remove people from playing, and major musicians were protesting against them, and you know, lo and behold, it became a staple for what you hear of 80s music. And a lot of it's pretty cool. When we got to the late 80s with a band called Milli Vanilli, we now have what's coined from Mark Cuban, which I agree with, the Milli Vanilli effect, where we're getting into an age where if we give it another 2-3 years, the prediction of the Milli Vanilli effect is that it's going to create a huge surge of F2F, face-to-face engagement. When you find your niche and you find the way you do things and the tools you use, and you have a good strategy, there's an audience.
To go back to the movies thing, the theater thing, you think theaters are going to survive?
I think they'll survive, but they're going to restructure. They're going to change to be closer to, and Netflix is already playing with this. They're buying up and building theaters everywhere.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And it's going to be more like multiplexes or events, and built in a way that supports that human engagement.
Yeah.
And it's going to feed into that.
There is something nice. Like my wife and I take my son to the theater only just a couple times a year at this point, but there's hardly any good kids stuff out there.
Right.
That's something that Cinema Country should consider. There's not a lot of good quality stuff for families. When we go, it's like, this is special. I just can't help but think that it's dying. That style of entertainment is dying, going to the theater.
Well, we're not impressed anymore by effects because we can create anything we want now. Sky's the limit. We're not, back in the 90s when we saw Jurassic Park for the first time, it was just like, wow, how did they do that? It was impressive. Well, we're numb to it now. We're not impressed by anything.
Yeah.
That's part of it, but we're also not impressed by the fact that theaters only have one thing to offer, and that's just a bigger screen. Well, not too many people are impressed with that either.
To me, the writing's been on the wall for a couple years. I think that I think it does a really good job of tracking, like TikTok does. The algorithm tracks our attention. And so I think AI is, in very short order, within a year or two, going to be producing entertainment that so much dopamine is released that it is heroin, essentially. Mm-hmm. How can humans still compete with that?
Right. Don't try to combat anything. The challenge today is not about the movies you make. It's about the marketing more. And we're going into an era where we're going to be so saturated with this content. Most of it's going to be AI driven, to where we're going to hit, and we're already seeing signs that we're hitting a marketing crisis. If you go on LinkedIn, where there's a bunch of professionals, all the way up to Lionsgate, down to the single independent producer who lives in the backwoods trying to make a movie, they're all struggling with the marketing aspect, and they're all sharing ideas and possible solutions and how to get your stuff out there, because you can make the best movie in the world no matter what tool you use, and it may never see the light of day because you don't have a strategy.
Yeah, when I get on Netflix, I'm like, I don't know how anyone can get eyes on their material these days.
Yep. And that's why I think self-distribution is the future. If I were to set on fire anything in the industry, that's an easy answer: the distribution companies.
And is that what Cinema Country is trying to change?
Not change, just offer a better route. Being able to keep creativity and financial all under the same umbrella, to where I know where those dollars are going. In fact, I got reports back from a distribution company I won't name that was part of a film that I was a producer on called Echo Boomers with Michael Shannon and Patrick Schwarzenegger and some other stars. And there was egregious charges on there. One of them in particular was like almost $100,000, where they spend money within themselves, within their own departments, making money off of the backs of the filmmakers.
The way I see it is, I think the movie industry is dying. The music industry is dying. And I think the solution is not going to be trying to revive the dead. It's sort of like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. Mm-hmm. It's like, let it die. Mm-hmm. And what does it revive as? Mm-hmm. What is this new thing? And I think what you're doing is fascinating. I think Cinema Country very well could be a part of that. Like you were saying, I think it's not about fighting against AI. I think it's going to be, and the same with music, it's going to be utilizing it in a new way.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about all these AI-generated bands that aren't even people?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well...
And what that effect has on the human spirit and the industry.
Yeah. My background is I own a creative agency. And as much as it really kind of bummed me out about AI taking over for a while, I've entered into this new phase where I like the gloves being off and just let it run, man. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I look at all of the artists of the past, and they were all borrowing from each other. So every artist is borrowing from artists before them. And then the original artist is just borrowing from God.
Right.
And so if AI is borrowing from all artists known, is it any different? What is illegal theft versus what every artist does, which is borrow from previous art?
Well, two things come to mind right off the top of the bat would be theft of using someone's likeness without asking permission.
Sure.
That's just true with anything in life. And that's being done rampantly right now. You can watch a million videos on putting Trump's head on something.
Yeah.
Well, that's illegal, or it's going to be. And then the second thing is just the copyright of using certain intellectual property that someone owns and using that for AI to learn from. And that's considered now theft.
I get that. I mean, that's what I'm trying to speak on, is that that is what all of us artists have done, is we're learning from specific styles of art that our favorite artists used.
But if you take, let's say AI takes from Forrest Gump and they start utilizing a story or depictions of those characters in a new video where it's clear that it was pulled from a Forrest Gump, that will be illegal.
Yeah.
It's theft. So that's part of the regulation. The other regulation is just what is to be accepted in platforms like theaters, to where theaters don't want to see AI-generated movies. They just don't. They're not interested in it right now.
Well, they're going to get left behind so fast then.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're also growing to figuring out how to reshape the theaters. And that's why you've got outfits like Netflix who are buying up all these theaters and looking to build, or actually more interested in building their own empire of theaters. Because theaters are not going to go away. There's always going to be that niche to where you want to go somewhere to an event. Mm-hmm. But they're building them they're going to provide services in a different way, to where it's like going to Disney World, or it's going to be a theater that is a space where you can be in an immersive movie, like you were talking about walking through, where a theater will accommodate that technology. That could be the next form of presentation of a movie. And I'm all excited about someday making a movie where it actually is an immersive movie.
Yeah.
Where you're walking through and experiencing a movie.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
I mean, that could potentially promote repeat visits to where you're going to miss things.
Infinite visits. Like, you really, if you're walking through a scene in a movie that's the size of New York.
Right.
I mean, and it's AI, I mean, that just, to me, it's like an infinite level of angles and timing. And
I even have an idea of a script where you're not only experiencing the movie in that kind of technology idea, whatever that looks like, but it's also like you've been to those mystery places where you pay to figure out clues to get to the next room and open the door or whatever.
Yep.
The idea in this idea of the story is that you're not only watching these characters through this experiential movie, but there's also a mystery within the story that you have to unfold.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So it's combining like the two industries together.
Yeah.
And that excites me.
That, to me, what you're talking about there is more in line with the evolution of entertainment.
Yeah. And I embrace it.
Yeah, I think movies as we know them, and I think music as we know them, are dinosaurs. They're officially what we would look at with our parents, with black and white TV and all of that. It's officially that stage. I'm not saying they're gone.
Right.
I'm not saying...
Well, I was just about to say, I do agree with that, but I also believe that they will also never go away.
What movie has moved you the most?
From a story perspective, that really gets me deep because it is so layered and it deals with so many elements on a human level. It's just a master screenplay, and I think it's American Beauty. Yeah,
you're not going to get an argument from me on that. American Beauty is easily, for me, top 5.
And just as a written script, it's impeccable almost.
Yeah.
But another film that would be maybe what I would categorize as more of a epic orchestrated film that's just a masterpiece would be like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Okay. From every angle of the uniqueness and powerfulness of the characters, and all the way to just the execution of the story and the film, and the way it was shot and the way it was edited.
Yeah,
it's a very epic film.
It's a good movie, man. I would throw Adaptation in there. Have you ever seen Adaptation?
Oh yeah, I love it. I've seen it many times.
I love the self-awareness of it.
Yeah, and that was probably closer to more like a American Beauty, where it has layers that have to do with the human spirit.
Yeah, the self-awareness, like the narration.
Yeah.
How Nicolas Cage, the lead character in it, him and his brother, he plays like twins.
Yeah.
But just his self-awareness in the way he speaks in real time, it seems like, just criticizing himself in the scenes, is just something to me that I resonate with. And I think the movie is just really moves me.
Yeah.
What's your favorite performance in film?
I'm going to pick on Daniel Day-Lewis and Joaquin Phoenix, where they truly possess the character.
What movies?
In a way that really makes you believe that they are them.
Yeah, what performance would you say for Daniel Day-Lewis?
There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, I would say that's
Joaquin Phoenix and his depiction in Joker. Yeah. It's just phenomenal. And you don't have to like that movie, but his performance is off the charts.
So the only thing with Joker is that I think he one-ups himself in The Master. I actually think
that too.
In The Master, I think I literally, when I first saw Joaquin in The Master, I thought, dude, he done messed himself up. He did some drugs, and this is just him. Right. I literally was convinced when I first saw it. I was like, he's really messed himself up. And he's awesome in the Joker. Yeah. Like, literally, it's fantastic. But I think Joaquin in The Master is one of the highlights of, and it's not the best movie ever, but to me, I really enjoy the movie because of him and because of his acting. And I agree with you 100% on Daniel Day-Lewis and There Will Be Blood. That's the first time seeing Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood was the first time I ever saw acting in a film that really affected me profoundly. Like it really kind of freaked me out. It almost changed me in a way, seeing that performance.
See, art, it moves us. It makes us grow. It makes us explore. I love films where you walk away and you have to talk to somebody about what you just saw.
Yeah.
Because it in a way, you may not even think that it happened, but in a way it changed you.
When was the last time you felt like giving up on the industry?
Probably at least a few times every single month of re-examining what the heck I'm doing.
Yeah.
Where's all this going? It's exhausting. I'm in an industry full of creative egos, and it's tough. And from the audience perspective, it's very glossy and glamour, but it's in real life, it's not even close to that. It's dirty. It's messy. It's bucking heads.
Yeah.
It's divas. It's budgets. It's money. It's greed.
Yeah.
It's tough. And you got to have a thick skin to survive.
What are some lessons to up-and-coming filmmakers that you've learned that you could pass on?
Really do it yourself. We don't have a choice. You have to really pave your own way.
Yeah.
Find your niche. Find your voice. Find your identity. Find your brand. And just go out there and kick ass.
What is the origin story of Cinema Country?
I actually had a rare blood clot in my basal artery that feeds blood to your brain. So here I am having a stroke in my 40s. And from August all the way to about Christmas, I spent my life pretty much rehabilitating, learning to get my speech back to normal, walking, jogging. With these new neural connections that were formed in my brain, it really woke me up and it allowed me to connect a lot of dots that I wasn't connecting before. The methodology in Cinema Country was key. And formulating this share program idea.
How does that affect you spiritually? Did that have any effect? I mean, did you think about dying? Did you think about the afterlife?
Yeah, it really did change me to where I've heard people say, like, you're just a different dude in a way. It really, because your brain is healing after a stroke, it self-heals. It's forcing new neural connections. And out of that came some synesthesia elements.
What is synesthesia?
Synesthesia is where your senses sometimes combine to where mine is sound and touch. Where some people can see numbers as colors. I experience frequencies and feelings from everything around me with life.
So you feel like your senses have been expanded?
Very much. In ways, flying in the face of my faith.
What do you think different about your faith?
I believe and I feel that God isn't just this white-haired old guy in the clouds or in the cosmos looking down on his creation, orchestrating everything.
But who do you know that does think that? You think a lot of people think God is an old man?
They get stuck with these images they developed as a child.
So who is God
from
to
Bible
you?
stories.
All right, so who is God to you?
Now I know that God, I believe, that is everything.
Okay.
God is not just watching everything or controlling everything or whatever.
Yeah.
God is all. That's why he revealed himself as...
So are you saying you are God?
No.
So then God isn't everything. He's not you.
Right. God uses us in the function of how things work, just
so
like
then God
everything else.
He can't be everything then. So you're saying maybe God has his hand in everything? I don't think anyone would disagree with that believes in God.
No, I think the way that God exists is just I am.
Sure.
He just is.
Yes.
That means it's everything.
I actually think it's very limiting to say that everything is God. I think that's very limiting of God, actually. I think it's the same limiting factor to say that God's outside of it, and he made this. It's the same limiting thing to say God is in everything, because God could be holding it all together with his pinky, and that's just a fragment of God.
Right.
So it could be just the tiniest fragment of God holding everything together, and God is so much more multidimensional and beyond it. That's what I believe.
That's the thing
I believe
about...
he's way bigger than stuff and things in the universe. I think that's the universe observationally is something that you could say an atom is, or a cell, or even a human body is a universe in and of itself. And so I think to even say the universe in all objective reality is somehow the wholeness of God, or God is all of that, I think is actually minimizes God.
Yeah, I think the opposite.
Yeah.
I think because he is everything, I am, it opens up a Pandora's box of an explosion of self-creation, an explosion of self-awareness, and where he utilizes man and everything on his creation with animals and everything. It's about death and rebirth, constant movement of these seasons.
Sure.
To where it's building itself and it's growing itself, it's encouraging itself, it's using itself. And that's probably the crux of, with everything that I've experienced and I feel, if anything, it opens God up to be so much bigger than what we've been groomed to think about him.
Yeah.
And that's true no matter what angle you and I take.
Yeah, I think that the reality is I'm viewing it from I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's what you're trying to say as well. I don't know. I don't think I can wrap my head around it.
The way that I view this particular conversation is that we both arrive at the same hope or conclusion. It's just our difference in understanding how he operates to get there.
Sure. So what is your hope? Simplified. What is your hope?
I am. It doesn't matter. Everything that I do, bad or good, was going to happen anyway.
I disagree.
If God, there's no time with God.
Yeah.
So there's no past. There's no future. There's only now with I am. It just is. So if it's in that terms, and we even know through Einstein's theory of relativity and everything that time actually can be manipulated. We know that time doesn't move in the way that our limited brains think of it.
Yeah, scientifically we can show that there's
time doesn't move linearly like we think about it.
So let me reframe it this, and I say this because I love you as my friend.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus says, my sheep will know my voice, right?
Mhm.
I think it really matters what we do in this life, and I think we are going to make mistakes, but I think what we believe also matters.
Mhm.
And in the way I read it, in the way that's having an impact on me, is that if I'm not pursuing Christ and what he's told me to do, then I am reaping death. And he says, I will not be mocked. What you sow, you will also reap. And dude, that is true for me.
Mhm.
And I'm reaping, because of that, there's a lot of negative things I'm reaping in my life. God is not being mocked.
Mhm.
And so I hear my Father's voice when I hear Jesus. And what I'm trying to figure out with you is, do you hear his voice? And when he says those things, does that not make you reflect and think, well, what I do does matter?
Well, I never said that whatever we do doesn't matter, first of all. Everything we do matters. I simply stated that whatever it is I'm going to do, whether it's bad or good, has already been. It's going to serve its purpose within the flow of his existence.
Sure.
And we're a part of that. And it doesn't change.
I mean, he's going to win regardless.
Right. It doesn't change
his
anything.
Thing happens.
The result is already done. We just sit in this limited, linear perspective and understanding of language to try to make sense of it. Thus, we have a billion
So do you have a
theologies.
choice today
Sure.
with what you do?
I have a choice in the sense that I am living a life under the belief that I have a choice because it matters to me and it matters to how it affects you. And so within that choice, God gives us the freedom to make those choices, but he already knows the choices. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, the way I believe it is that he died knowing all the choices that you already made that are against him.
Yeah.
While you were still an enemy, he died for you. That is my hope.
Yeah.
That has changed my life. That belief in and of itself fundamentally changes the way I treat people and treat myself and treat others.
Yeah. When you look at all these theologies, you have to remember that the Bible is simply the tip of the iceberg. It's a sliver of understanding how big he works.
Well, obviously, the Bible is way
I'm sure
too
a lot
much
of us
we
believe
can't see.
that.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the way it is or where he sits in all this. It's about how he encompasses everything to work and how he's using all of it.
Yeah, I
I'm
welcome
a follower
it.
of Christ.
I welcome someone opening and stretching my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I like the way you think. I do. I really like the way you think on it. You stretch my brain. And I would say this to anyone listening, and that is that, like, you have to know the Holy Spirit for yourself. Like, I don't take your word for it.
Mm-hmm.
No one should take my word for it.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't take a pastor's word for it.
Yeah.
You got to pray. You got to read for yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to get quiet with God.
Yeah.
And ask God to reveal himself to you, and you've got to know him personally. So I think all of this, our conversation, is great for stretching the mind, breaking molds.
Yeah.
I am all for questioning everything.
Yeah.
But I do think we have to know God personally. I think that there's no way around it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that you're stretching the way I'm thinking.
And I could be wrong.
You very well could be. And that's why, honestly, it doesn't, in the end of the day, for anyone to look at you or any other man or me and to say, that's how I need to see God, that's your first mistake. Mm-hmm. I would agree that God is way bigger than our understanding.
Yeah.
I believe that Jesus, what he was saying, even though we wrestle with it, even his words in his life is transformative. Anyone out there, I think they need to read his words, pray to God, and get to know him personally, and then develop your own personal relationship, because at the end of the day, when you're dying and you're laying there about to go, it isn't going to matter what anyone else said about God.
Right.
I mean, at that point, when their last breath is there, like, do you know the creator of the universe?
Right.
Do you have a relation? Does he know you? Do you have a relationship? Anyways, man, it's been great having you here. You've challenged me today. I'm glad that, as always, we can disagree on some things. We come together on others, but I think we always sharpen each other. And, Yeah, man. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for being on.
Yep.
Here, let's do that again. I want a better handshake. That was a terrible handshake. All right. All right. Dude, good having you on, man.
Let's do it again. That was over the top.
All right. Nice having you on, man.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you.
Love it.
Thanks for listening to the Audacia podcast. If you've enjoyed this conversation, make sure to like, subscribe, and share the show. It's the best way to stay up to date and support this journey. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time.